Alright, so let's say you want to learn Rashid in Street Fighter 6, but you don't know where to start. Or maybe you have already started, but you just want to make sure there's nothing that you're missing, or you just want to see if there's any extra tips that you can learn with this character. Either way, I got you. Today I'm going to be attempting to make the ultimate Rashid guide for you guys playing Rashid here in Season 2 of Street Fighter 6. Let's get started. Alright, so to start us off, Rashid is a rushdown mix-up character. He's incredibly strong in this current patch, and a lot of people have even said he's possibly the best character in this game, so he has basically an option for everything, and I definitely recommend picking up this character if you enjoy rushdown gameplay, and you enjoy insane mix-ups that are just really sick to do. This character will be perfect for you. But yeah, let's get started with his normals. Alright, so to start us off, we actually have Rashid's standing light jab right here. It's a 4-frame, just like a jab should be. It has a pretty decent hitbox, I'm not going to lie, and the fact that it can be pressed so fast, like this, it basically just ends up being a much better version, or at least what Ed's jab should be. But, you know, poor Ed. This move is pretty good. It can be canceled back into a light jab out of drive rush, and you can get a really good ender out of this, which is really useful. But yeah, other than that, pretty standard jab, very strong overall though. Alright, now we have his standing light kick. Standing light kick is very similar to his standing light jab. You can put it out a lot, maybe not as fast, but it's also another 4-frame move that comes out very fast, decent range, can be drive rushed out of. But the main usage for this one that's different is that this one can be canceled into light eagle spike, which is going to be very useful. Other than that, when it comes to loops and stuff like that, you can do light or this, so for the most part, they're the same except for that. Then we have his crouching light punch. This move is pretty decent overall. It is a little bit slower than standing light punch at 5 frames, but overall this move is still pretty useful. It's not a low, but it can be used to trick out certain opponents into thinking it is. Overall, it's not too crazy or anything like that. We can move on. Alright, then we have Crouch Light Kick. So Crouch Light Kick right here is also a 5-frame starter, but this one is actually going to be a low-hitting move. This move can't be canceled into anything, but it can be used into other moves, like this, if you want to get like a low confirm or something like that. So overall, this move is pretty good. This move is pretty good at 5 frames. It can be drive rush into. I think this is the main usage I see for this move. Other than for mix-ups and stuff like that, a lot of people drive rush like that into this move, so it's pretty useful. Alright, now we're going to move on to Rashid's standing medium punch. This move is incredibly useful. It is also +1 on block, which is going to be very useful for your frame traps and just to give Rashid strong pressure. That's very true. Very strong move right here. Honestly, one of his best moves, and it's pretty good range, and it comes out at 6 frames. So yeah, that's privilege right there. Then we have his standing medium kick. This move is at 8 frames right here. Pretty good move to use for in the middle of combos, but also it's a pretty good option to drive rush into. It just has a really nice hitbox, and I've seen a lot of people use this to beat out drive rush as well. One of the biggest uses of this move, though, that I forgot to mention at first is the fact that it is able to be canceled into medium on hit, so you can go for his medium target combo right here if you want to. Alright, now we're going to move on to Crouch Medium Punch. Similar to Standing Medium Punch, this move is also plus on block by 1. Very strong move right here. I think the best usage for this move, personally, is to hit on meaty. So the moment that the opponent wakes up, this is the best move you can use to counter out, like a throw or something that they're going to wake up and do. It has a really good hitbox, and it's just really strong for wake-ups. Alright, so now moving on, we are getting on to one of his more important moves, which is his low forward right here, his Crouch Medium Kick. At 7 frames, this move has a pretty decent poke range and can be canceled into probably his most useful combo right here, where he puts you across the screen with amazing Oki, ends with Eagle Spike. Yeah, this low forward is pretty good, honestly. There is no complaints about this move. I'm sure a lot of people probably know that maybe Rashid doesn't have the best pokes in the game, but this move is very strong. There's no reason to complain about this move. So yeah, this is gonna be your main. This is gonna be your biggest move when it comes to beating people out in low and punishing going in for a combo. Really good move. Really good move. Alright, now let's move on to his Heavy Punch. Heavy Punch right here at 9 frames. Pretty quick, I know. The main usage I see of this move typically is like with whiff punishes and stuff like that. So other than that, it's just good for combos, and it's a similar like to a lot of other standing heavies where it can be canceled into like, you know, specials for more damage than like a medium hit or something like that. Alright, now let's move on to his heavy kick. Heavy kick right here is going to be one of your best buttons for sure. Not only is this move safe on -5 on block, that doesn't seem safe, but the range that it would keep you at on block, there's no move for the most part that somebody can do at 5 frames to punish you at the range that you're going to be. On top of that, this move is just so good at keeping away the opponent and even whiff punishing them for the most part. This move has been used for so many different things. It's just a move you're going to want to throw out a lot, honestly. Alright, so now we're moving on to Crouch Heavy Punch. This is another move I would recommend doing pretty often in normal neutral, so you can see if you can try to grab the opponent. It has pretty long range. 12 frames isn't amazingly like fast or anything, but the range this move has is pretty good, and it is very good for combos and stuff like that. Then for his Crouch Heavy Kick, similar to a lot of other Crouch Heavy Kicks, this move right here is just a sweep. Nothing amazingly special about this move. I think it's pretty standard overall when it comes to being a sweep, but that's what it is, a sweep. Let's talk about a few of his jumping moves. Let's talk about Jumping Light Punch. Jumping Light Punch is really not going to be used for the most part unless you're doing like a mix-up, say right here. It is used a lot in this situation to mix up into low, but when it comes to just in the air, there's better options for sure than doing Jump Light Punch, I'm not going to lie. Moving on to that, we have his Jumping Medium Kick. This move right here is a really good cross-up option, and it can be canceled into another medium kick, which can then be comboed into the target combo into Eagle Spike. So I like this move a lot. I use it a lot. 7 frames, decently fast. I use this a decent amount to trade and just to get a little cross-up combo sometimes when you need it. Then we have his Jumping Heavy Punch right here. Jumping Heavy Punch is going to be a multi-hitting move right here. This move isn't usually used on jump-ins as much as Jump Heavy Kick is, but this one is mainly going to be used for like resets and stuff like this. So you want to lock down the opponent in the corner. Because for the most part, if you're just going for a jump-in, you're going to use our next move, which is Jumping Heavy Kick. At 10 frames, this move has incredible range. This move might as well be like a freaking Smash Bros. Like neutral air. This move is kind of insane. Like look at where that hits. The hitbox is not okay. It's honestly such a good move. When you're jumping, and this is most of the time the move that you're using, it's pretty nuts, I'm not gonna lie. And the last things for his jumping moves right here are, if you press down heavy punch in the air, you will actually launch on top of the opponent and do something like this. You can do it into another heavy punch, you can do it into another heavy kick, or you can just use it for like mix-ups and stuff like that. Really strong move over here. Really strong move that I use pretty often, but I wouldn't try to use this every single time, because if you're in the air, if they react, they can like anti-air if they block it, so just be aware of that. Alright, now we're going to move on to Rashid's unique moves. We're going to start off with his forward medium punch. This move right here at 8 frames is a pretty good move for whiff punishing, just throwing out neutral, stuff like that. It has a lot of different uses, and I personally think mixed in with a lot of these other options, it can be used in a really strong way to throw the opponent off. Sometimes you can make them forget you have these options. And also just a good move to like cover a lot of the screen, you know, like even if this move comes out at 8, you might have faster moves, but like look how much longer this move stays out, you know, like it's just a multi-hitting, pretty strong move overall, and I recommend using this occasionally because off of punish counter or drive rush, you can cancel into more combos and stuff, so pretty good move right here. Now we're finally getting to one of Rashid's most useful things, and something that he does that nobody else does is his run. He is the only character in this game where if you dash forward and you hold down, he just straight up runs at the opponent. He does not care about dashes, he thinks that's stupid, he wants to run. So he's going to run full speed at you, he does not care, and this run can be canceled into 2 different things. First one, with a punch, you will slide under the opponent. This move is really good for going under fireballs. I have used this almost once per every match. Basically, yeah, if you're fighting someone using fireballs, you're going to use this move at least once or twice in a match. At least in a round, honestly, because it's super useful. You just got to be smart with the usage because it can get punished on block. But with a recent update, this move has actually been made even better. For some reason, they made this move super cancelable. So you can do multiple supers out of this. You can do level 3 for some reason. You can throw a level 2 out right there. or you can throw out level 1. So yeah, options are endless here. You can go off for some crazy stuff. People have already found some insane like new setups and stuff just because of this. So yeah, I definitely recommend using this option a decent amount. Just be smart with your usage because it is able to be punished on block. On top of that, he does also have this move right here, which can throw the opponents off in certain situations. I'm not going to lie, most of the time that I end up using this move is most of the time when the opponent is getting hit in the air by one of these, and I want to run over and smack them down for a little bit more damage. But for the most part, I don't see myself using this move too much. It can be punished pretty easily, and I think honestly the game intended him to use this move to throw off the opponent, but it's a little iffy. There are times to use this for sure, but I would definitely not use this as much as this run right here. Alright, so now we have Rashid's overhead option, his forward heavy punch. This move is incredibly strong, and in my opinion, one of the better overheads in this game. It may not be like insanely fast or anything, but it's not slow either. And the fact that this gets such good damage off of like a drive rush punish or something like that, this move is pretty nuts, I'm not gonna lie. Boom, look at that. You can even go medium. No, you can't. Yeah, really good move right here. Then we have his forward heavy kick. This move does not hit overhead, even though it looks pretty similar to his forward heavy punch. The main usage of this move, because it hits high, is to go over like low hitting moves. So let's say they're using like a quick little like, you know, low hitting move or like a low forward. You can use this to go over that move and get a punish on them. So on top of that, it's also used sometimes for like punish counter combos, like stuff like that, but you won't see it as much as some of these other moves. Alright, now we have up heavy kick. This move right here, I didn't even know existed until pretty recently. Honestly, I spent so much time with this character, and I forgot this move existed. It has a pretty iffy hitbox, and that's part of the reason why you won't see it too much. On top of that, it also can only be used if you jump straight up, so you can't jump forward to do it. When I first saw this with the up air like hitbox, I was thinking, oh, this is like a Smash Bros move. You can jump forward and hit opponent up in the air. That's not what this is for. This is for crazy, wacky combos that you can do. Stuff like this. Yeah, some pretty crazy stuff. You probably won't see that move too often unless you're going for some weird combos and stuff like that, but it is a pretty fun move to experiment with, I won't lie. Alright, then we got, if you press 2 of his kicks together, you got his side flip. You press forward and 2 kicks, boom, side flip. This move can also be pressed twice, and depending on if you press forward or back, he will go decently far or he will go very far. So yeah, this move's pretty strong. I've seen it mainly used for like frame kills and stuff like that, so you can use it in this situation for like a safe meaty, stuff like that. Overall, you're going to probably be using this move a lot, just wouldn't recommend randomly throwing it out because if a player is good enough, they can probably anti-air it. Alright, and on top of that, Rashid is one of the few blessed characters in this game to have an air throw, and in my opinion, it's pretty damn good, if not like one of the best in the game. This one puts you forward and slides them a little bit forward as well. Compared to some of the other air throws in this game that kind of just either side swap you or they end up like just dropping you down, the fact that he takes you a little bit forward as well, I'd say that's pretty privileged, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, just another thing that shows how dumb this character is. Alright, so now we are finally moving on to Rashid's specials. Starting us off, we have Spinning Mixer right here. Quarter circle forward and any of your kick options will throw this tornado at the opponent. This move can also be charged to various degrees. You can charge it a little bit, you can charge it a little bit more than that, but the moment you see it turn white like that, you have now powered up Rashid. With this move, your other moves get enhanced. Say that move, boom, all your special moves basically get enhanced. It's pretty nuts, I'm not gonna lie. This is at like the root of this character, like what he is, to be honest. You can do so much with this. The light version of this move goes at this arc, medium goes at this arc, and heavy goes at this arc. Heavy is mainly going to be used to hit people out of the air who are trying to jump in on you, who you are like prepared for that. You can punish them. Light is the closest thing to a regular like fireball that you're probably going to be throwing out at close to full screen range to kind of poke with a fireball. This move is also really good at dealing with Dulcim in the air because look at that arc, it's kind of nuts. As you can tell, the further that it goes up even higher. Personally, I do think this is a really good thing about his fireballs, and the fact that he can be charged. You can wait for someone to jump even higher and then punish them, and depending on which one of these little whirlwinds that you actually throw out at the opponent, you can anti-air somebody heavy, which makes him pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. Let's say you know an opponent's like about to jump up. You can hit him with one of these. Boom, big combo. And that can actually cancel into level 3, so yeah. God, this character's so broken. You can also do stuff like this. Yeah. Alright, now moving on. This one is actually called Spinning Mixer. I think I accidentally called it wrong. That one is Whirlwind Shot. Now we're going to talk about Spinning Mixer. Spinning Mixer right here is quarter circle forward and any of your punches. Light is going to be a pretty decent move right here that hits a few different times and it stays on the ground. Medium is going to be a pretty decent anti-air option. This move can be beaten out, so I wouldn't use it as much as the next option, but it's still pretty good at getting opponents who are like in the corner, probably at like this range right here if you want to punish them. And it's also mainly going to be used for situations to get like a meaty setup and stuff like that, and just for combos. It's a pretty useful move. But the next one we're going to be talking about is the heavy version, which is his actual main anti-air in this game. It goes straight up, and with quarter circle forward heavy punch, you get a really strong anti-air option. If you get a little bit off of the range, like right here, it will miss, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's where the OD reversal comes in right here, his OD Spinning Mixer. It moves at the arc of the medium, but it hits like the heavy. It's pretty nuts, I'm not going to lie. And with the medium right here, you can actually cancel it into the OD version, so it's a nice little thing to note. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the fully powered up versions of this move. When we're talking about the light version of this move, it is actually going to make you plus on block and carry the opponent very far on the other side of the screen. Opponents can jump this, so remember, but if you time it out well, this is going to be a really safe option right here to push the opponent further and to have some strong pressure. On top of that, the medium does what it already does, but it takes them up even further. But of course, it's even more minus, so be careful about using this one. And the heavy used up close is pretty decent for like combos and stuff like that. Let's say that you get a full charge hit right here, you can go into the heavy, and pretty good Oki right here. So yeah, pretty strong move. Alright, so now let's talk about Eagle Spike. Quarter circle back and any of your kick buttons, you have Eagle Spike. Light is going to look like this, launches the opponent a little bit in front of you, some pretty decent Oki right here. Then you have your medium Eagle Spike, which is going to launch you a lot faster and a lot further than the light. You see the light will kind of slowly move towards the opponent. And then on top of that we have the heavy, which goes even further than both of these. It goes full screen at pretty fast speed. It looks like it's about the speed as medium, but it's just, you know, full screen. So yeah, and this heavy one is gonna basically do what medium does, but it's gonna launch them a lot further. Alright, so the main usage of most of these is going to be for combos. When it comes to light, Eagle Spike, it's going to be off of like mainly like light confirms and stuff like that. Medium is going to be the main one you're going to end up using, as this is the one that you do off of medium hits, and it is also the one you do off of heavy hits. Heavy cannot be done off of a heavy hit unless it is drive rushed into or it is a punish counter on hit. So for the most part, you're probably going to be using the medium, as you can get a lot more hits in beforehand, which makes it easier to set up than getting a pure like drive rush hit. And it's a little sketchy because if you pull this out and let's say they block that, this move is incredibly minus. The opponent can just run up and punish you if they block this. They can drive rush up and just get a punish counter. So do not do this randomly. Then we have the OD Eagle Spike, which is going to be similar to the heavy, but it looks like, I can't tell if it's even faster than that or not, but the difference in this one is that it actually launches the opponent in the air, which can then be used for a combo. You can do another Eagle Spike after it, you can do like a medium spinning mixer out of it. You know, it really just depends on the situation, but you have a lot of different options you can do out of this. So pretty strong move right here. Again, similar to the other ones. Don't just throw this one out randomly. I would definitely recommend waiting for the right moment, either in a combo or in a right like punish or something like that. Alright, so now we're moving on to Arabian Cyclone. Quarter circle back any of your punches is going to give you this move right here, which doesn't look amazing or anything at first. Honestly, when I first saw this move, I couldn't even tell what the hell it was supposed to do, but this is going to be one of your best options as Rashid. This option grants you multiple different options. It's going to grant you a small little hit right here at the bottom. It is going to grant you an option to cancel into other buttons, and honestly, yeah, it's just a really strong move for doing loops, which is really useful with this character. Stuff like this can be used with the Cyclone, and it can also be used to reset the opponent. So you're going to be using Cyclone a lot, maybe not throwing it out as much as some of the other options like your Fireball and stuff like that, but once you get on an opponent, the way you get your frame traps and stuff like that is usually with a Radiant Cyclone. Like, this frame trap's right here, you got this one. Light is going to be 15 frames right here, medium's at 20, and heavy is at 27. Best thing to note here is that if you hit medium, you're going to be +1 if you're able to press forward on this. But how did I do that? I pressed forward kick. So yeah, this move actually has two different buttons that you can press after it, and it will do two different things. If you press forward kick, then your guy is going to roll forward, and this can be used for, like we saw before, plus frames, and also it can also be used for like combos, stuff like this. And the other option is if you press back and kick, you're going to fly forward in the air. This option is going to be used a lot for mix-ups, as you saw earlier. This was the option that I did earlier with this little low mix right here. You can also go heavy, stuff like that. And yeah, you're going to experiment a lot with this move and find out when the best time is to use this, because it is very good. One thing to note is that I wouldn't recommend just throwing out randomly in neutral, because a lot of people have gotten used to this move and will just light jab it, because that will just beat it. So make sure you wait for safe times to do it. Alright, lastly with specials, we got Sky High. Jump in the air. Anytime you jump forward in the air with Rashid, if you do a quarter circle back kick, you're going to get Sky High, where he jumps off the air somehow and goes forward. Depending on which one you do and the direction, you will fly decently far, and this move can be used to trick out the opponent a little bit. Maybe sometimes if they're trying to anti-air, you can get slightly out of their range. In my opinion, the most useful version of this move is the OD, as it flies down incredibly fast and is a really good option for getting a cross-up. You can even decide, depending on which direction you go, if it goes in front of them or if it's going to cross up the opponent. So if you're pretty good at using this move, if you find the right time to use it basically, you can really trick out the opponent and get some pretty good setups right here. So yeah, very strong move, just don't ever use it too much. Alright, now we're moving on to Rashid's supers. So when we talk about Rashid's supers, he's got 3 just like any other characters. He's got his level 1, which is going to be double quarter circle forward and then kick. This is going to give us Super Rashid kick. Boom. This is a very strong super. It can be used on Wake Up to get out of certain situations. This is the arc that it flies at, so it can be used actually to hit people out of the air sometimes. Let's say you wanted to just use it as an option to hit somebody back into the corner or something like that, or they're jumping in on you and you're nervous about anti-airing. Yeah, you can use this move. I've done it before, and it's honestly a pretty good option for stuff like this. Look at that. Sends them all the way over there. Alright, then we're going to move on to his level 3. No, we're not forgetting his level 2. There's just a lot to be talked about with that, as some of you guys probably know, so we're going to go back to that one. Level 3, double quarter circle forward, and then punch is going to give us his Altair. I think that's how you pronounce it. This level 3 right here is going to be pretty strong overall. Does good damage. It's a pretty standard level 3, I'm not going to lie. And now he has a new usage to this move out of his Light Eagle Spike. He can cancel into it. This is not something he could do before, and it's honestly amazing. You're going to see a lot of people doing this now. Now that we've talked about his level 3, we have not mentioned a level 2. Now we're going to talk about the move that people actually do. For the most part, when you're playing Rashid, you're watching Rashid, you're not going to see level 3 too much, which is why I didn't really go too much into detail about it. You might find uses for it, but for the most part, you were probably going to end up using double quarter circle back kick, the Great Desert Storm. This tornado single-handedly puts Rashid where he is. All of his other options are amazing. Like, let me be real, this character has great options. There's nothing he's doing that's broken or anything, but for the most part his options are just really good until you get to Great Desert Storm. This level 2 right here single-handedly makes this character what he is. Depending on which button you press, there's light, medium, and heavy. You can get, from what I can tell, decent different speeds. They look about the same, but from what I can tell, I think it's slightly different. All of these are going to be Rashid's main option when it comes to insane pressure, insane mix-ups, insane Oki and pushing the opponent to the other side of the screen. The moment you throw this thing out, it is now your turn to play. There are certain characters, there's a few characters in this game that have certain options that beat this out, but they usually have to spend meter, or they have to spend their like drive bar to get through it. And even some of these people, like Lily and characters like that, they only get through it, but that doesn't mean that it's their turn to attack yet. It just means they get through it. But the reason why that's not even that like crazy is because let's say they crossed up or something like that. If they were on the other side of your tornado, you know what you can do, right? You could just throw it at them. So yeah, all right, let's talk about what you can do with this tornado. So once you throw out this tornado, like I said before, it's basically your turn. You control the screen. You're faster. Your jump is different. You can jump straight up and it'll go forward, so you can like cross up the opponent. On top of that, Eagle Spike, a move that was not safe before, is now safe and takes you to the other side of the screen, which is kind of nuts, and then you can just do it again. You can also decide to basically jump forward at a crazy arc to fly across the screen. Basically, all of your moves are enhanced. The main usage for this move, though, that I see is to push an opponent down and try to get like a mix-up, basically. They will do that by either rushing them down with like shimmy options, lows, grabs, and stuff like that, or they will just do the old classic, which is to just throw the tornado at the opponent. This makes the opponent have to block either your little overhead right here. It makes them have to block like a low, and you can even throw this out and then walk and grab some people. So like there's a lot of different uses with this. I'll have a whole video talking about that specifically, but for now all you need to know is that level 2 is insane, and it practically makes Rashid as good as he is, to be honest. Alright, so now we're going to talk about Rashid's game plan. When you talk about Rashid's game plan, you got to talk about the fact that this man has some crazy meaty options. We mentioned them previously. Off of Eagle Spike, you can do stuff like this. You can also do stuff like this. Like, the options are endless. For the most part, that's what you're going to be relying on a lot. That's what I see Gachikun and a lot of the other pros do. They tend to play this game of pretty safe footsies for the most part, relying on a lot of low forward pokes, heavy kick, and stuff like that, occasionally throwing in forward medium, waiting for anti-airs and anti-airing. They're not typically being like too insanely aggressive on the opponent until they have, of course, like gotten a hit or something like that. Because for the most part, you do want to play this character like a lot of other characters. You want to play slow. You want to kind of like wait until you get like whiff punishes and stuff like that. But once you are in with this character, then it is time to do his stuff. That is when he has mix-up options. That is when you can throw out Arabian Cyclone. That is when you can go for your meaty setups and stuff like that. That is when it is your turn to make this character as crazy as he is. But I do recommend learning really strong footsies to carry this character to make him even better. So then your meaty options, you know, your mix-up options, all that frame trap stuff, it's amazing, but it makes it an extra thing that you do that enhances your already very strong game plan. So yeah, I don't know if that helps as much, but that's how I'd recommend playing this character. Alright, so for the rest of this video, I'm just going to be showing some combos that I recommend you learn with this character, and yeah, let's do it. Alright, so yeah, that's going to be the end for this Rashid Beginner's Guide. I really hope that helped you guys out, and if you guys have any further questions or any further critiques or anything like that, feel free to ask me or let me know in the comments down below, where I will happily respond to those. I look forward to talking to you guys, and yeah, appreciate you guys for everything. I'm going to be getting out of here, so peace.